Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to do a full detailed beta review of Rennsport. There are some new features that are not widely known, but please remember I'm reviewing this knowing that some of the performance rankings will improve. But before we move on, please like and subscribe if you want to see more content. I'm going to break down my top 10 performance features and rate them during this beta process. We're going to cover race tracking and the lobby system, circuit graphics and frame rates and rendering, modding tools, dedicated phone app, cars and car physics, the ranking system and the race quality. We're going to look at force feedback and we're going to have a look at what's next. Rennsport, what is it and how will it be different to other sims in this competitive but developing sector? But first we're going to look at some of the circuit graphics. The exciting thing here is Rennsport is using Unreal Engine 5 to power this sim. This offers a huge leap forward to produce more immersive games with greater creative freedom and visual fidelity. We should see a new generation of realism. Just looking at some of the slow-mos of the cars, there's definitely a feeling of being more connected. The lighting and rendering just seems so much more natural. For me, it creates a more realistic visual. With Unreal Engine 5, we should see a new generation of realism to create more realistic visuals than ever before, meaning Lumen Global Illumination and Reflection System, which can produce light reflections in incredible detail, combined with nanite visualized geometry. We should see overall improvement to the animation system, and also the characters that inhabit the worlds can take this generation leap forward too. This also brings with it a new lighting system. The Unreal Engine 5 introduces a brand new dynamic lighting system that creates light and reflections that can recreate real-time events and actions, whether it's headlight reflecting against a moving object or swinging light bulb at the side of the track. Light can bounce an infinite amount of directions, essentially meaning it can mimic real life. This should be a real game changer, especially games that are reliant on light and shadows at night. So for us, this gives us an opportunity to have a much more enhanced feel of driving at night. At the moment, for what I've seen, the detail at this early stage, I'd give the graphics and rendering a 9. When it comes to modding, we have seen from the success of AC that the game modding community can continually provide new depth and lifeblood into an older sim. Rennsport has made it clear their goal is to give the community the tools to enhance Rennsport with greater user-generated content to let their creativity run wild. The fact they're thinking about this is really exciting. Potentially by opening this to the modders, we should see some accelerated development when Rennsport is released, which means more cars, more tracks. So for me, the fact that they're thinking about this gives this a 7. Car simulation and feel. Obviously we're still in beta, but the reason we're on simulators is to transfer the real world reality into sim. These series of mathematical calculations and understanding that transfer real life physics into believable virtual physics is measurable by the driver. Of course, despite all of this science, every sim has its quirks, and iRacing, which for me shows its age in some respects, has its fans and detractors when discussing physics. Rennsport has more than just the basics, and I've seen improvements over the last few months. For me, Rennsport does have some of the floatiness of iRacing, but it doesn't have the killer snap, which means when you get it wrong, you're out of the race. Rennsport, I can definitely race on it and I can push. It's predictable, it's probably slightly more vague than I'd like, but it's more forgiving than R-Factor. If they can focus on the tyre contact physics, which is what we saw has been developed on AMS2 most recently, this would have a huge impact in the performance of the sim. But it's raceable, I can push my limits, so at this stage I'd give the car simulation a 6. With the ranking system, the question here is what do Rennsport want to achieve? As with most sims and third-party software, the idea will be to have a license system that ranks drivers of similar ability and pace through results against other drivers, ensuring they end up in the correct split to have the closest possible racing. While the SR or safety rating should prevent unsafe drivers from gaining access to races, I think what they're doing has real potential as it's fully integrated into the system and appears to be working straight from the box. I expect Rennsport to have a meaningful, well-performing safety and ranking system by the time it launches. There's also some exciting things to back this up. So for me, the ranking system gets an 8. When it comes to looking at race results and future races, this can be reviewed on the sim, but also they've got their own dedicated phone app. This phone app is incredibly exciting for someone who wants to see how full the races are. If they want to target any practice times, you can open it up on your phone, you can log into a previous race, and you can have a look to see what the lap times were. Here you can actually select a race that is going ahead. You can even watch the qualifying happen live, and you can log into the live race session and you can monitor lap by lap the progress. I've used integrated apps in other sectors before. You can essentially carry around your results and apply for a race ahead of sitting on the sim. You can even look in your garage to see which cars and liveries you own. For me, this system is a game changer that means you have a little bit of the sim with you all the time. This concept gets a 10. This is related to car simulation. And actually the force feedback for me comes from the pedals and the wheel. The force feedback is critical, and you need it to feel the lockups, you need it to really feel the over and under steer to keep things in control. Rennsport here definitely needs to make a little bit of improvement. Our expectations are so high now, any lack of clarity can really kill the experience. For me, I'd put the force feedback at a 4, but I expect the nuances of the force feedback to be developed and enhanced over the coming months. I've had some really good competition with other drivers, and I think the racing ahead is going to be really exciting. I've participated in both GT3 and Pragas across a variety of circuits, and the new matchmaking system is working really well. Currently we're limited to about 12 drivers on the grid, but I'm finding the splits when I've had them makes us competitive. The competition's been really good. Even the lag that you have on other sims, virtually non-existent. I haven't had any incidents with rubber banding or cars disappearing or any juddering at all. So at this early stage, the competition section gets a good 8. When it comes to price, I don't think anybody really knows what the model is going to be and what the price is going to be. I'm not sure whether it's going to be pay to play or whether you're going to constantly pay for small amounts of content, but I think there are going to be options for modders possibly to make some money as well out of the content. Although most modders aren't looking for financial rewards, we could see a significant amount of focus on the content and some high quality third-party projects, recreating circuits that are fully integrated into the ecosystem. If Rennsport could integrate the modder's product and make that transactionable through Rennsport, that would make money for the modders and it would also benefit the community. But at the moment, I can't give a rating on the price. Car content. Things are looking good here. The developers have openly said to beta testers that after an extensive feedback loop that people are looking for more than another GT3 simulator. After that development loop feedback, Rennsport launched the Praga. The Praga has been a really great car, and with all things considered at this early stage, to have 4 GT cars, the Porsche, Mercedes, Audi, BMW and the Praga. Each of the GT3 cars fundamentally feel exactly what you'd expect, and the Praga feels very lightweight, feels underpowered compared to the GT3 and has some fantastic downforce. Because of the fact they're looking to get modders involved, potentially we're looking at an 8 here. Finally, we're going to go back to where we started and the nanite geometry technology. With the Unreal Engine 5, you can create so many more processes without loading the system. Looking at the detail of the drivers, I've just been really impressed with the fluid movement and the detail and the subtleties of the driver. The finish of the cars, the cockpit view, the motion of the driver inside and outside the cockpit is just incredibly smooth. Even after an accident, you can see the detailed movement of the driver. The whole thing just gives a really natural feel. The fact they've been able to implement this so early in beta, not just looking at the nice shiny things on the outside, but looking at that detail inside, is fantastic to see. So for this level of detail so early, the crisp and smoothness of everything, I'd give this a solid 8. But before we go on to what's next, if you've liked this content, please like and subscribe to keep in touch. But what's next? Well, for me, what I'm really looking forward to next in the beta testing is being able to look at the new lighting system with Unreal Engine 5, have a feel for what it's like from dawn to dusk through the night, be able to look at those shadows, the lights, and then we're going to get onto weather environments. This is just a small snapshot of what's been going on in beta so far, but for what I can see already, it's really exciting. As the beta testing opens out to more users, we'll be able to get more feedback for the developers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you at the next one.